Okay, perfect.
There we go.
So yes, like I was saying, I'm gonna go in there real assertive because I feel like first of all, we came up with the idea so organically. I was thinking about making this website to be able to present to Rocket Ship and tell them all of the wonderful things that I would like to do for the school and the community. And so, as I was doing that, I know that one of the things that I would like to bring attention to is like bringing in the community, going out in the community, and also bringing the community in the school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I need to have like a little spotlight of something, either historical or something that's going on in the community, to bring awareness to. And then I thought about Miss Neville's knowing you, and I was like, man, that would be amazing if I was to be able to somehow contact Miss Opal Lee. And then so I wasn't sure. I was tiptoeing. Had to catch Miss Neville's up on, my new aspirations and stuff. But I was afraid to ask her because I didn't think that it was going to be a possibility that you would want to speak to me, or I know that you're very busy, and so and so. But Miss Neville's, and I'm gonna turn this a little bit. Is it recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miss Neville's, she was like, no, this is it. This is it. This is something that they need to do because she is a pillar in the community. She's done so much for Fort Worth and the community, Black people in general across the nation. And so she just came up with it. You know what she told me? Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna pitch it. But she said, no, put the name on the site. And I was like, am I gonna go in there and they're gonna be thinking, who does this girl think she is? And she was like, just put her name on the site. And when I put your name on the site, I said, I'm putting the name on the site and this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I am surely gonna try on Wednesday to get them to see the value in that. So this is just me. I don't even have the job yet. So I just
Sweetie, you want me to go with you Wednesday?
yeah. But like I got somebody. I have a visitor.
in my interview,
Right.
about a visitor.
Yeah.
So it would be Rocket Ship, Opal Lee Academy, Rocket Ship.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh wee.
So I think that there are definitely a lot of reasons as to why they should do that. So I hope that that's the case. But that's the reason why I wanted to take the time to get to know you and your history and what brought you to Fort Worth, because I did a little bit of research and I know that you weren't originally from here. So it was really interesting to find out how you got here and your family and how resilient you guys have been over the course of time. And so,
wow.
yeah.
The closest I've been to a rocket ship is I worked for a club, a white club, and it was called the Rocket Club.
Oh, this is what this is about to be. It's gonna be, we're gonna be rocking it for Miss Opal though.
Two brothers had been in service, and when they got out, they built a club with this rocket, and then it had a roof.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first roof in town that they, opened the roof and the people dancing under the stars and all that kind of stuff. The Rocket Club. I think it's a welding shop now.
Yes. So I did want to ask you, do you know anything about the history of Top Six?
Well, I do, and I don't. I know that Amanda Davis was the first property owner in Stop Six, and do you know that she has a great grandson? His name's Jared Howard. Jared is an entrepreneur, and he's got great plans for Fort Worth and things he wants to do, and he's well on his way to doing it. Now, Stop Six has an elementary school. It has sixth grade school. It has a middle school, a high school, and all of them were named Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Laurence Dunbar. I don't know whether whites didn't know any more blacks to name them. At least 4, if not 5 schools called Paul Laurence Dunbar. Well, they did have one in this area, not really, called George Washington Carver. So, well, the schools, some of the names have been changed now. In fact, one of the schools is J. Martin Jacquet, who was one of the principals, and another one, Maud Logan.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Dunbar school. They named it, and I think they're beginning to know that there's some more black folk before Dunbar. But Amanda Davis would haul water from the spring. I think she'd sell it for 5 cents a gallon or something. But she was the first property owner in that area.
Mm.
Now, they had a streetcar in Fort Worth that ran from Fort Worth to Dallas and back. And so, where these people lived was the 6th stop on the line going to Dallas. And so it's always been known as Stop 6.
Got it.
I think it went past Lake Como and they all had stops. I don't hear anybody saying they were called Stop 1, Stop 2, Stop 5. But we do know that one was called Stop 6. I'd like to say it was a close-knit community, but we've got one called Como that is, fist-tight close. It's really close.
Yes.
I think Stop 6 has a community where they had maybe the first new houses, and those people took extremely good care of their homes and whatnot. And they didn't call them Stop 6, they called them Rolling Hill, no, not Rolling Hill, Rosedale Park, something like that. Now, at I.M. Terrell, which was the only high school for blacks in the county, had a coach. And then when he left I.M. Terrell, he went to Dunbar High School. And his name was Robert Hughes. Robert Hughes was the winningest coach in these United States, not just Fort Worth. I know he has a son and a daughter, and he has a daughter who is a Episcopalian minister. But Coach Hughes is still living. I want to tell you, they started, was it called Rosedale Park? And some of the streets are named for people who were responsible for putting that together.
The streets in Stop 6 are named after those people. The people who helped start the park. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know one school is called Sunrise Elementary School, and it's been renamed Macmillan for the principal who, she was our neighbor, next door neighbor on Terrell Avenue, Mary Macmillan, and that school is in the county, so it's built up around it, and it's a city school now. Yeah.
So I also wanted to know why do you think it's important for the youth to know their history, and especially as it relates to their community and where they come from?
Because they are our future, and if we don't train them properly and teach them properly, we're going to have some of the same things happen to them that happened to us. And it doesn't have to be that way. If they are taught properly, and if they learn that we can work together as opposed to this, we blacks over here and the Mexicans over there and the whites over there. We don't need to lose the youth as we're doing in the gangs now. I wished everybody and his daddy could have heard Farrakhan. I just stumbled up on him, but he was so good this morning. I sat there, after I got a bath, I know I would listen to him for an hour. He was so on point, you know. Ooh, I wish I could repeat it, but I
So
can't.
then I guess I have a follow-up question to that, and that is, what would you say to kindergarten, kids in kindergarten, kids in first grade, and kids in second grade? I want to rephrase my question. I'm running back. I actually have another question I want to ask you before that. My other question is, what would a school that's moving into Stop 6 have to do to be successful in that community?
First, you've got to find those folk who we call the leaders. I'm going to tell you to start with Gina Bivens.
Okay.
She's on the city council. She just won her slot, just like this one is trying to win hers. I think hers is 5.
Mm-hmm.
She's not what you call, she's a youngster. Let me put it that way. She might be 40, 50, but then you're going to find a girl who's on the school board, and her name, what?
Toby.
What?
Toby.
Well,
No.
Toby is somebody, she doesn't live in that community, but
Mm-mm.
Toby is a good one on the school board.
Not Christine.
Christine Moss.
She's no longer on the school board. Quentin took her place.
Christine's place.
Mm,
But
Quentin.
then you need to find Christine because she's not as old as I am, but she's been around long enough
Okay.
to give you some advice about the people and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know the ministers in the neighborhood. There are 2 churches on Amanda. That's the through street. Isn't it Amanda that goes right through?
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 churches almost side by side, a couple of blocks apart. And those pastors have been here long enough to tell you about their congregation and what can and will not fly, you know. Yeah. There are other churches in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a fella named Reby Carey. He wrote about 22, 23 books.
Mm-hmm.
All about the people in Fort Worth. Let's see.
Get the mic. Get the mic.
Oh, the mic off.
Oh,
Right
I'm
here.
not going far.
Okay, I think.
I'm looking for a Reby Carey book. There's one. Neville's. See if you can get that book.
The one-
Where
The
you
one in
got
the
that
corner?
book? Can you get it?
Yes, ma'am. Here
Okay.
it goes. So I have it on this one right here?
Yeah. Mhm. He's on the cover.
Okay.
And so I've got several of his books.
Oh, wow.
But now, and they are not all, perfect, but then he's got pictures of them folk. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Is he from that area? He's from Stop 6? Oh, Fort Worth and Tarrant County. Okay, gotcha.
He was a professor over at the University of Texas at Arlington.
Okay.
His father was a minister on the south side of Fort Worth.
Okay.
And if I tell you, he's written 23 books,
Wow.
and they're about people in Fort Worth,
Mm-hmm.
and they ain't got, with different folk in different books.
And that's one of the reasons why I also think it's so important to know your history, because just in this sitting, you told me that you had the people that were saying that they couldn't come up with any contributions for black people, right? And then you have the people who were naming the schools after the same man, even though I'm sure he's worthy, but there are other people that have made contributions that also
Mhm.
would deserve some recognition. So
And speaking of that, we have a YMCA, and the name of it is McDonald
mm-hmm.
Branch YMCA. And McDonald was the richest black man in Fort Worth. He had a bank. He was a fraternal man, what are Masons? Mm-hmm. What is this thing? What am I supposed to do?
That's actually, and I wonder if it's been
Picking up the sound.
mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. Keep going.
Okay.
Because my battery gonna run out in a bit.
So and we could ask one more question and we could turn it off.
Okay.
I've been reading 2 books. One I've read before, and now I'm rereading. It's called The Day They Shook the Plum Tree. And it's about the richest woman in America. Her name was Hetty, Hetty. There's a book called Hetty. I got the book Hetty, I've read it. But The Day They Shook the Plum Tree tells you about how her son, whose name was Green, HLT Green or something like that, and a black man named William Gooseneck, Bill McDonald, tall and straight. He had an Adam's apple that bobbled up and down, so he was called Gooseneck Bill. But he had money, marble, and chalk.
Those sayings get me.
I'm like, I would meet some of these men because they're not around anymore. Not even close.
Not even their children's children.
Not even their children's children.
Yeah.
What's your last question, Naya?
Okay, my last question is, what would you say to the founding scholars or students in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade at Rocket Ship?
What would I say
Yes.
to them?
Is there anything that you would want them to know?
The first class.
The first class, yes.
Yes. That Fort Worth, that's their home, is the best place in the world to live in. That's cause when they grow up, they're gonna make it better. And that their parents are the best parents in all the world. And their school is better than any school anywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.